Hello and welcome to Spurs Kings TV Spotlight on Spurs and Designated Hot Spur. And it's time for the N17 monthly. Luke, you well?
I'm all good, man. I'm all good. Thank you. Thank you very much for letting me join this prestigious panel. Thank you very much. I'm doing well. Not having Spurs play games is definitely better for my mental health for sure. So let's see how this goes over the next couple of weeks.
Manny, how you doing? You well? Been a
Yeah,
been a
man.
been a decent 4 weeks.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I fully echo Luke's words. As you can see, I'm smiling. I'm relaxed. I'm living life, and that is all thanks to the fact that Spurs haven't played this week, and they're not going to be playing for the next 3 weeks. So I genuinely think I'll get into better health by the time we get to the next game before it deteriorates again. So all good, man. But thanks for having me.
Rain, our guest, you well?
I'm not. I'm a little bit sick. I'd say.
I was hoping you'd say that because I heard you'd stay. The voice is going.
So, to be honest, I feel fine. I just can't talk. I feel fine. I agree. I feel quite positive at the moment, and I think a lot of that is to do with the fact that I haven't seen Spurs play in about 5 or 6 days. So, and I don't, and there's absolutely no reason really to be positive. I think talking with the fantastic community we've got really helps someone like me, and that's why I do it a lot. So, yeah, very pleased, very happy to be here with you three guys.
All right, so let's kick things off. Okay, so we've obviously had the month of hell, pretty much a disaster. So what was it? 2-1 loss to Fulham, 3-1 loss to Palace. Van de Ven gets sent off. We then go get battered in Madrid. Okay, technically, I say we get battered. The scoreline kind of didn't help us with the slipperage. We then get a result at Anfield. We then come back and actually play quite well against Atletico at home, but little mistakes cost us. And then probably in the big 6-pointer, we go and get beat against Nottingham Forest. Now, I'm going to start with you, Manny, because you were here last month. And I think we said we needed a minimum of 3 points and good performances. And we ended up with a point.
Well, I actually said we needed a minimum of 4 points from Palace and Fulham. That's what I said, and I think I saw. Mate, after that, did Fulham come after Palace or before Palace? It came.
So it was Fulham, Palace, Madrid away, Liverpool,
Right.
Madrid at home.
Yes, that's it. So I knew Fulham was always going to be a tough one, right? Because playing away at Craven Cottage is not for the faint-hearted. We've seen City go there and have I think they were 4-0 up or 3-0 up, and Fulham came back and nearly actually even got a draw. So I knew there was going to be a difficult game. But
Yeah.
I thought that because we've done better away than home, I thought we're going to be able to manage to get a draw. So that was all right. So us losing that, I was annoyed, but I wasn't, it wasn't OTT for me. I think I lost it when we lost to Palace. That 3-1 game, I was contemplating whether to go to that game or not. I ended up, having some faith and go into the game. And at halftime, I went home because I think it was 3-0 at halftime. And I was like, I'm not watching this nonsense. If these lot are not, putting up the fight for their own pride, why the hell should I, travel all the way from Cambridge to come and watch this nonsense and then stay? No. So I left at halftime, man. I left at halftime, but we are in big trouble. Guys, I know, I know, you guys, we are in big trouble. I don't know, but we'll get into it. I just don't know where we go from here. To be completely honest, I've got one ray of hope, one rain of hope, right? But that is about it. That is about it.
We'll discuss that later when we talk about the next month's worth of fixtures. Luke, You know, you missed us last month, so
Sorry about that. I was injured. The Spurs injury. I was only supposed to be out for a couple of days. Ended up becoming a month. So pretty much standard procedure. I'm glad I missed it because I'd have been saying exactly the same thing as you boys. I watched back the episode and absolutely I'd have been saying the same thing, expecting a minimum of 3 points. Obviously, as Manny echoed, Fulham was always going to be pretty difficult.
Yeah.
Palace game, they've obviously picked up a few points, obviously 3 against us. But I think that was a game where a lot of fans thought if we could get potentially scrape a win there. And then obviously the Van der Ven red card and everything else was just kind of we needed to kind of regroup then, and is the game's over by half time. Atletico Madrid on it's really weird, right? Because we had a couple of slips in there, we had a couple of silly mistakes. Richarlison has a header, keeper makes a save, they run the other end and score, and you kind of look at it going really weird because if everything went our way, argue we walk away winning that game, but we end up walking away losing 5-2. So it's just mad, and that's the sort of situation that Spurs are in. And then the game where we all think absolutely no chance, Liverpool will turn up against Spurs because everybody seems to turn up against Spurs. We go and nick a draw, give the Spurs fans some hope, some optimism, and then it's quite quickly dashed away after the Forest game. So yeah, bit of a weird sort of set of fixtures, weird month for Spurs. It's hard to analyse because every single game we're up, down, we're left, we're right. But it's not been good enough. That month is clearly not good enough, regardless of how you work it out or spin it. And hopefully we'll be talking about a few more wins next month. But I'm not saying that with a lot of optimism.
Ray, bring you into it as our guest. How did you see the month go ahead? Like, how did you see it going, and then your expectations on what exactly happened?
Yeah, so actually, funnily enough, on Dermot's channel on THFC Till We Die, we did I've got my little pad. We did a prediction of what we thought was coming up, right? We did it before the Fulham game. I predicted 0, a loss to Fulham, a loss to Palace, a loss to Liverpool, which admittedly closer to big up Eugene. Admittedly closer to the actually the day before the Liverpool game, I was on with. I can't remember. What you know what I'm like. It could have been anyone. I think it was Stell. I think it was actually Stell who I was on with, and I predicted.
Now.
I predicted 1-1. I predicted a draw at Liverpool. But I had 0, and then I had 3 for Forest. I had 3 points for Forest. I looking at the way that Forest were playing at the time, we had to get a win, and then we turn up and we do exactly what we've done the whole season. I hear a lot of people talking about effort, and all I see from our players is they're just constantly making errors which lead to goals. And to be honest, that's really the story of the last 2 years. We just make silly mistakes that lead to goals, and then and then we just collapse. And it could be Van der Ven, having a bozo moment to give away a penalty. It could be Morgan Gibbs-White just waltzing like a ballerina, doing a twirl and and some jumps, and into the middle of our penalty area before side footing easily into the goal. and then we just fold.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And you're right, Rain. But sorry, just one point, right? And that's the thing. I think when we scored that first goal against Palace, I went mental in the South Stand because I had that split of a second moment where I was like, this is it. This is it. This is the turning point. Bear in mind, when I say turning point, I mean because we at the time anyway, we needed practically 6 to 9 points, right? So I was thinking, this is it. This is our first 3 points, and let's look forward. And that was it. Van der Ven, just absolute bozo moment, just like you said, Rain. And with the Forest game, by the way, I saw, and I'm in the group chat that you guys are on, and this is exactly what I said. I don't know where the positivity is coming from because when I was looking at it, yes, Forest can't, are struggling to score, but that's every single team, right? Every single team is struggling to do something until they meet us, and they score or they play better or whatever it is. And I actually, if I'm being objective, that Forest game, the first 30, first 5-10 minutes, I was a bit worried. But after that, we took control of the game. We just couldn't score. We weren't really creating clear-cut chances, but we couldn't turn the game on its head. And then what happens? They score, and that's the thing. They scored one goal, and all I could see is just heads drop. And then you knew already, we're not coming back from this. We're not coming back from this. We're not coming back from this. So yeah, mate. I fully concur, Rain.
So look, let's go into that Nottingham Forest game quickly, okay? And I want to just quickly talk about people calling it a parade, people calling it, a get together, people calling it, to stand the pub with the boys and whatnot. There's so many names for it, okay? But the fans turned up to kind of welcome the team bus. Rumors has it there's no one on the team bus, but who knows?
Nah, it's rubbish.
But however, it obviously didn't work. Well, we think it didn't work. This is the first one that we're going to do. It didn't work. The players have turned up and literally stunk out the place. Is it a case now of?
I think you've been harsh there. I think the first half it was 50-50 and then scored, and then I actually think that it was the substitutions. I think it was the substitutions.
The substitutions killed the game, but we didn't create nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be the biggest problem. We didn't create nothing. We had one shot.
Tell skinned his man, and they got a nice little block in, and for that. So I think if we would have won that game, then people would be going, that was a good solid half. But because we lost it, I think we're going, we didn't really create much. I think we had a few chances, but Spurs don't create loads and loads and loads of chances at the moment. So any few chance that we create is actually.
Yeah, but you're talking about we hit the bar for throw one. Yeah, that was the throw on which.
Hey, we're scraping at the moment. We've got to take what we can get.
And then the shot at Sells makes a great save. I
was going to say that was first half.
Yeah, it was a great fast, but that was it. Like compared to how the second half turned out, it's kind of he's made the subs and it's killed us a little bit. But did anybody see us going on to win that game?
Not. Go on, Ray.
Or even get a result.
I still think you can say that in that first half we had more of the chances. We had more of the big up, mate. We definitely had more of the chances. We had more of the ball. And if you were going to do on the balance of who's gonna come away with the points from that game, it would have been us. I think that I've been seeing Alfie Gray sort of playing quite well, growing into the role that he's been put into, and he's in the chat. I'm going to say I thought Tell was industrious, and the fact that he I've been criticizing him for a lack of end product, but that shot, that that shot was not a poor shot. It was a very, very good save. So he needs to do that more. He needs to, if he does that another 5 times, he'll score 3. That's a classic Sonny top bins shot. But what we really lack is consistency, and that was the biggest problem for us with Forest. Was we went from Atletico Madrid and basically one team, and then we went to Forest with a completely different team. And if you're just chopping and changing all the time, the team, the positions, they can build up no head of steam. Whereas you look at Forest, they just play, they just steamroll, right? They just play the same team. And in football, you develop a type of muscle memory with who you're playing with. So that's, for me, that's a massive problem that we've got at the moment. In the situation that we're in, we're just chopping and changing. Just everything's changed constantly.
It's weird, right? Because every single time a player seems to have a decent game or a decent few games, they drop out of the team. And this isn't just under Tudor, this is under Frank as well. The amount of times Tel came off the bench, made an impact, was doing something, next game dropped out of the team. Odebert went on a run, I think he came out against United, changed the game, played the next game, then was dropped. Xavi plays his best game possibly in a Spurs shirt against what is, you can argue whether they were fully at it because they were winning, but Xavi has probably his best game in a Spurs shirt, dropped the next week. Like, it's almost like even when a player plays well, we're always like, yeah, we better drop them. That's not Spurs. We'll drop them to play. It seems to be a little bit like that. But I think the biggest thing when you look back on it against Forest, you was always going to say where are they strongest in that middle. Sangare, Morgan Gibbs-White, Elliott. Them 3 are a top, regardless of where they are. That's a very, very good midfield. And we went in there and tried to play 2 against them.
Yeah,
and I was
exactly, Luke. I think that's like there are two bits here, right? I think that's my issue at the moment with ever since Tudor came in, is it seems like he's got this insistence in wanting to have a certain formation, and he is going to shoehorn players into whatever position in order to play that formation. What do I mean by that is he came in and started playing 3 at the back, right? He started playing 3 at the back and realized that it's not really working. So what does he do instead? He goes into this unconventional 4-4-2, whereby he either plays a right winger as a right back as a right winger, so that when we are out of possession, he can go back into this 3 at the back again, right? Or he plays a left back as a left winger, so that again, when we are off the ball, he can go back into that formation that he, for whatever reason, seems to want to instill into these players. And sometimes I'm like, but what has happened to your conventional 4-2-3-1, whereby you can then be able to play a Xavi who's had the best game of his Spurs career against Atletico Madrid, and you can actually play him in the 10 in a position where you can actually allow him to be a bit more creative and create more chances. I think I read somewhere whereby he since he came to Spurs this season, he has created the most chances across the board within our players. So whether you like him or not, whether you think he's too flimsy or not, he is creating chances, or things work out via him. And I think this is the reason why I think after 2 games I was like, I don't get this Tudor business. And I understand, obviously I've been watching a lot of content creation, right? And I know that there is a lot of people who push the narrative that, you know, it doesn't matter anymore about managers. It's just about the players. But I struggle to believe that if you are playing Suso at right wing, if you're playing Jet Spence at right wing, if you're then playing Van de Ven at left back, like it's way too many players being played in positions that they're not conventionally used to. As Rain said, muscle memory, and that in itself is not helping us anyway. That we all know that confidence is shot. We all know that, right? But then to them play them in different positions that they are not even used to, that's when it becomes a bit of an issue with me from that perspective. The second point I want to make is, I think Marlon, you mentioned about the, I don't even know what to call it now, right? So Luke, you've got a positive spin on it. So what should I call this? What happened? The kind of like
pre-match get together. I don't know.
Whatever it is, right?
A parade, you're celebrating something.
Yeah, listen, I'm very cautious.
I'm very
cautious. I've been in the group chats. I'm very, very cautious about how I call it now, right? Because I might be driving and someone just comes and hits me for calling
the
it.
Everton. Why don't we just call it the Everton Gathering?
The gathering, right?
I'm going to call it what I want to call it. I'll be brutally honest. I don't care
because that's where it's come from. It's come from the Everton when they come out. Obviously, when they had Richarlison, and obviously it's kind of that situation where Spurs fans have never been in this situation before. So we got to a point where our fans are booing the players every week, which they were booing every time they were coming off the pitch. Every single home game, they were booing the players, and even the away games. I went to Fulham, and they were booing. Actually, that's a lie. I'm lying. They didn't boo. They actually tried to celebrate, but the Xavi Simons just totally ignored the away fans that day. So he didn't come out trying. But every home game since January, Spurs fans have booed. We can't.
Before pivoting onto the parade. I mean, nobody's saying. Everybody's saying that Xavi scored 2 goals against Atletico Madrid, right? He scored 2 goals. Let's not. This is a big thing, right, for us. He scored 2 goals, and then was dropped the next game. And it doesn't matter whether Atletico Madrid managed that game. Yeah, it managed the tie. The tie was dead. And they just didn't. They just never let us get away from them. But surely we had to take some confidence. Surely we had to take some confidence away from that result, from that performance, and take it into the weekend. And the way that you take that confidence across is by having the players who played really well. And you've got a player who scored 2 goals and then doesn't start. I was one of those people, Manny. I am one of those people who says that the coach doesn't matter as much as as most as a lot of people say.
He did play 5 in that game against Atletico. He did play 5 at the back to begin with, and
So no, I think Rain is talking about the second game.
I'm talking about the Forest game.
But you're talking about going from Atletico to. So obviously, Manny went because obviously he played 5 at the back again. But you played 5 at the back against Atletico as well when we won. It was just the fact that Simons started over Richarlison this time. I can't remember, and because the lineup for Atletico was Vicario in goal, Porro, Romero, Dragusin, Van der Ven, Spence. That was the back 5. Then you had Simons, Sarr, Gray, Tell, and Moani, and that was due to the fact that he only had the bare 11. The problem was that you said it was the formation, but if you're talking about Atletico to Nottingham Forest, it's not the formation, it's the fact that he then had more players to pick from and probably picked the wrong players. Correct?
You've also got to look at who you're coming up against, right? And I'm not someone who thinks you should chop and change it consistently, but actually Atletico Madrid kind of play a 4-4-2 as well. Yeah. So you kind of go man for man. Obviously their front 4 was Lookman, Simeone, Alvarez, and Griezmann. So they kind of had 2 men in midfield. So if you match it up, you're kind of 2 against 2 who comes out on top. But with Forest, you look at it and go, actually, they're going to dominate us in midfield. In my head, Xavi made more sense to actually play against Forest because he at least then brought another man in midfield, which meant you go 3 for 3. And then you just have to hope that Xavi Simons becomes more of an offensive threat than having to be on the back foot.
So is this not a Tottenham board issue, not a Tudor issue? Because Tudor only knows one way of playing and you're expecting him to come in for how many games and change something he doesn't know.
But ultimately, everything is a board issue. But
because
we need to analyze. Like from my perspective, like it. I haven't got a B license, with a license, whatever it is, coaching badge, right?
Have you not? What are you on here for?
Luke hasn't got it for sure, right?
Whoa. Hey. Before you get coming to me and Ray not having it, yeah.
Like we all have.
I'm gonna say what Adrian said last night. I've only been watching football for 45 years. I don't know how that. I don't know whether that qualifies me for anything. But my point about Xavi was not about formation. It was not about. It was about just. It was about coaches making rational decisions and rational, sensible changes, and taking Xavi out and then not bringing him on, and then especially then not bringing him on when we need, was just made no sense whatsoever. I can't work out what the logic
can't justify
there was at all, and like Luke says, any of us, any Premier League fan can tell you that with Forest you're going to need decent bodies in the central midfield because that's where they're going to control you, and we didn't do that. So it's the point that I'm making is I'm the type of person who generally says that the coach doesn't make that much of a difference. It's mainly about the players, but that there is that is predicated on the coach making rational decisions to start with and not making bonkers decisions. As soon as the coach makes bonkers decisions, then they can absolutely screw everything up.
I think, Marlon, going back to the point about the ball, right? Yeah. I've said this on a few shows. And Postecoglou, whatever you think about it, whatever you think of him, whether you liked him or you didn't, right? His top goal scorer was Brennan Johnson. He found a way, he found a system to get that boy scoring goals.
Yes,
right?
Correct.
He's your top goal scorer. They bring in a new coach. Yeah, just about. And it wasn't a huge amount of goals. He didn't score 30 odd, but he was your top goal scorer. They bring in a new coach. Within 6 months, that coach sells one of the most pivotal and your top goal scorer under the previous coach. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Not only that, he makes 2 signings. In the summer, he signs Xavi Simons, and in the winter, he signs Gallagher. Again, we can argue whether he specifically wanted those players or he didn't. But under Frank's tenureship, he signed them 2 players. So he's got rid of the last most important player under the last manager, brought these 2 in. Tudor's dropped both of them 2. What does that tell you? There's no continuation from one to another. There's no continuation from one manager to go into the next one.
To be fair, though, on Tudor, Gallagher's not really been available.
No, I'm not saying, but obviously Gallagher
Simmons,
has been
available. Simmons, I completely agree with. But I have to defend Tudor there. With Gallagher, he's suddenly turned up at Tottenham and he's got injured and he's not been fully fit.
He was playing him right wing anyway.
And he was played him, the right wing game against Fulham.
You know what I mean? So it was still irrational anyway, regardless of
exactly
playing him right wing.
But the problem you've got is the issue that, and I get everyone goes, you've got to put players in their position, okay? But even when they were playing in their position, they were still losing under Frank.
They were, but the manner in which we're losing now,
we're conceding more now. Yeah, we're still losing.
Just to be completely transparent, right?
Yeah.
Not like anyone knows, but I wanted Frank out, right? Exactly.
Exclusive.
Right. But I can categorically tell you that both our performances and our scorelines have been worse than Frank.
Yes, they have.
You know what I mean? So there is a certain element of, yes, we were rubbish and crap under Frank as well, but at least him playing them in the right positions gave us something small.
I forget muscle. You got muscle memory here because under Frank it was no better. Like I get it, but we didn't have anything small. We not one of those games under Frank did any of us think that we were going to win those.
No.
But not even give us a little bit of hope because we went as soon as we went 1-0 down.
No. What I'm saying is, if I transfer myself from Frank to Tudor, right? I go to games knowing I am losing that game. Like with
I feel like that under Frank, though. I felt like that under
yeah,
Frank.
true.
I agree. I agree with you in a way.
Mm.
I think that we probably may have got an extra maybe point with Frank, but I think also it's that quick thing where we forget.
That's what we need to get.
Virtually
Yeah.
the whole, like, so many of these players weren't having Frank. Like, they just weren't having him.
No. I fully agree.
Rightly or wrongly, we can discuss whether or not a group of players should have a manager or shouldn't or whatever. I think from the very start, Frank was the wrong manager.
No.
You've definitely got to have that happy medium.
The point I'm making, Luke, is not in a sense of, oh, you know, we should go back or we should have kept Frank. It's in the sense of we chose the wrong guy in Tudor. Like that's what I am driving to. I'm driving to the fact that we've gone from a manager that, in my opinion, as you said, we didn't feel anything, to now a manager. And generally, listen, I am a passionate fan. So when I first listened to Tudor, I was like, oh, this is it. You know, at the point where he got asked, do you think Tottenham are staying up? And he was like, 100%. I was like, that's my gaffer. And then I realized
and then he started working.
Exactly. So I think my point is more around the fact that if Frank wasn't the guy, Tudor's definitely not the guy.
So let's get, well, since we've started on the manager, right? This was obviously going to be the next topic. Who is that guy then? Because it seems like, well, that Tudor will be not taking any more games for the rest of the season. If you hear paper talk, how are they going to get it right? Because they can't get this one wrong. They actually just can't physically get it wrong. They've put themselves in two situations now where they've got it completely wrong.
There isn't a guy. There isn't a perfect guy. We're in a situation where you're not hiring a perfect guy. It's impossible. You can't. So all we're doing, this is the God's honest truth, is we are relying on a little bit of luck.
So this is about half an hour ago. Someone just met Dash in a pub. Definitely not coming to Spurs, by the way.
Yeah, he's an Arsenal fan apparently. But
who, the guy?
Yeah, apparently the guy that's posted it is an Arsenal fan.
Sean Dash seems very ecstatic to meet him.
Yeah, it's like
he's living up to the memes, isn't he? But listen, for me, I think we're relying on a bit of luck. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for someone to just come in and just do a little. I disagree. I think the manager has a lot to do with it, but in this circumstance, I don't think the managers have much to do with it. We're not asking someone to come in and reinvent the wheel and come up with a great long-term plan and nurture players. We're coming in to say, look, just come in and win 2 games and then sod off. But this whole thing that a manager won't come in at Spurs and this, that, and the other, we're going to lose hundreds of million if we go down. If you turn around and said to Daesh, I am going to make you, over this next 3-month period, I'm going to make you one of the highest paid Premier League managers, and then I'm going to give you a £10 million bonus if we stay up. Daesh is coming, and so's 99.9% of other managers.
But is Daesh the guy to do that, though?
I'm not. Whether it's Daesh or whoever it is, I'm saying
no. But because I know you're saying about Daesh, but do you really want to offer a manager that has been relegated with Burnley, that just took Forest, was meant to keep Forest in the league, and they had to sack him? And this is the guy. I know his points were a lot better, but we're comparing him to Ange and Nuno, who hardly had anything in the first how many games. So Forest were going to pick up games somewhere, and this is the guy we're now trying to rely on to keep us up. It's a bit. And have we got the players for Daesh?
I can see why Daesh's system would work at Spurs, to be honest. But again,
can you really
short term? Yeah, I can.
Genuinely,
I can. I do think there's certain players there that he would be able to utilize. Like I can absolutely imagine.
Tell me. I'm intrigued. I'm trying to learn because I'm trying to learn from this as well. I'm not having a dig. I'm just literally trying to go because I'm trying to think outside the box here with Spurs fans and go. Because a lot of fans, some fans saying yes to Sean Dyche, they like he's going to come in and do wonders, and I'm looking at going, but with who? Because I and it's probably because I've got muscle memory from Tudor and Frank, where these players are just literally just shitting on us.
Well, we're absolutely working in a perfect world, aren't we? Right, by guessing this, but I'm saying that you've got what do you think of when you think of Dyche's teams? You think of hardworking, physical, experienced players, right? So for me, Porro might not even play. So he might go with Spence, 6 foot. You might go with Romero, Danso, and Van der Ven. You've got a solid back four there. That Van der Ven won't be running up the wing. Spence won't be running up the wing. They'll be sitting in. You've got Gallagher, Palhinha sitting in front. Maybe even Gray. Gray, you could argue, is maybe a type of player like that. You've got Kudos out there. I want you to do a bit of magic. Xavi out the other side. And you could even go 2 up top and just go long. Because everyone's saying we can't play. We've got no midfielders. They can't get on the ball. There's so many different ways to score goals. Dyche has never had an unbelievable playmaker in the middle of the pitch to go and score goals. He's never done that. So what's he done? He's gone long. He's won the second balls. He's gone after that. And I've been saying for ages, under Frank, I couldn't understand what we was. So if we're not going to play you the ball in the midfield, then go long and just win second balls. It's horrible football. I don't want to see it. But right now, it is what it is.
It doesn't matter. Exactly. It doesn't matter how we get there. Like, we are talking right now, looking at the way things are going, we are talking right now about 2 wins and a draw or 3 wins. That's what we're talking about here. And we are talking about bringing in someone that is not now going to try and scout our opposition to understand who the best players are, what the systems are. That's not what we're looking for. We are trying to get someone who's going to come in, already knows this league, already knows the opposition within this league, already knows how to maybe hopefully navigate us to the 2 wins and the draw. Like, I genuinely, we're on 30 points right now, right? I genuinely think 37 might be okay to get to and actually scrape a stay in this league. So I genuinely do believe that, if I'm looking right, there's no one else. There's nobody else that I trust anymore with regards to this, other than maybe Sean Dyche, because he absolutely knows the league and probably can galvanize the players to just 2 wins and 1 draw. That's what we're talking of here. We're not talking about a run to try and get, Conference League. We're talking about a situation where we've got a team beneath us in West Ham who seem to be toothless without Somerville, right? Somerville, from my understanding, is back after the international break, just like Kudus, right? And then we're talking about a Leeds team who is currently in free fall. All we need is to bring Leeds into this scrap. Bring Leeds into the scrap, because they are playing West Ham in the last game of the season. That's what we need to do. So if
they both need to draw to get us down.
100%.
So sorry, go on, Ray. Go on.
You see, Luke, I come at it from a different angle.
Go on.
Which is, you can get Dyche in and he can tell them, play solid back four. Play it through the central midfielders. Don't progress. Your job is to defend. And one of these idiots will still make a mistake. It will lead to a goal, because that's just what I've been watching for the last two and a half years, and I've been watching Ange pull his hair out, right? Frank pull his hair out, and now Tudor. Go, what's going on? They're making. So I don't think that's coming out of some of these players. I don't think a coach is changing that. I don't think a coach is changing that. Even if they've got medium to long term, that what they need is. I guess the only way that's changing is to do what me and Sav, for example, are completely on the same page. Effectively, what we need is a strong double pivot. We need to stop conceding goals. So we need Palhinha in the front, in the screening in the front of our back four. We need a hard worker like Gray or Gallagher, and they need to have discipline, because they need to make sure that they're coming back and supporting Palhinha. And then just let whoever's up front just do whatever they want to do. Because the problem that we've had, and coming back to it, is we just keep on making mistakes. And no coach can mitigate that. No coach can.
I agree. Absolutely.
The only way you can mitigate it is to change the players. Is to, and I don't understand. For example, I don't understand why Vicario is still at our club. I think if there were rumours that there was money in, well, maybe it's because they knew that we wouldn't actually be able to sell him because he wouldn't pass a medical. Now I'm thinking about it, right?
No, I think he's been. I think it sounded like he's only had it for a few months, so that would suggest that he's picked that up through the season, right? Because I feel like we've seen.
So we couldn't sell him in January. So because there was rumours.
I don't think so. No.
Yeah. Okay. So that makes sense.
If they knew that from January and they thought it was Lange and the team thought it was an ideal place not to bloody go and get a goalkeeper on loan, because they obviously didn't trust Kingsley and they don't trust Austin, to go and get a goalkeeper is beyond.
But they were trying to do that, no?
No. The worst.
They can't be.
There was rumours that they wanted.
Yeah, they were trying.
Hermansen from West Ham,
the West Ham goalkeeper.
Mate,
West Ham. They went down that route.
Him.
Yes. This is our board, guys.
Yeah,
this is our board.
The guy that went the same guy that went down with Leicester. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Good.
That's
where they went to.
West Ham fans didn't like him. West Ham fans were saying he's horrendous. Now he's played a few games. They're saying he's brilliant. He was horrendous.
Guys,
you only need to look at Sunday who Nottingham Forest had on their bench. They went and signed Ortega.
Yes.
I said it. I was screaming it last year. As soon as Trafford signed, I was going, just go and get Ortega. Just go and get him. He's average. He's decent. He will give you a stopgap for a year. He brings in experience. Whether Vicario becomes your number 2 or he stays your number 1, whatever, you've got 2 experienced goalkeepers there. If there's an injury, you've got someone there to come in and replace it. But we don't do that. And also, I think Vicario needs to be changed. I think that he's dropped off a bit now, but we've got so many problems. I didn't think he was at the top of it. But you don't go and sell your number 1 goalkeeper in January. It just doesn't, not many clubs go and do that. They just don't do it. So that should have been planned last year. Or if you don't think he's good enough and you think there's even a chance you're selling him, you bring in an adequate backup that can come in and do that. But I think
Sunday proved. I think what Sunday proved with Vicario, and you could take this as you will, but the difference between what happens when you've got a decent goalkeeper and a goalkeeper that's kind of making mistakes week in, week out. And Sells makes that safe off tell. Vicario probably lets that in. That's the difference.
Oh, 100%. You don't need right now. We don't need an unbelievable goalkeeper. We just need someone that's
a competent goalkeeper.
Kind of what he needs to do, and that's about it, right? That's all we really need. We don't need an outstanding one.
So De Zerbi, are we going to talk about him or not?
We don't want it. Don't want it unless we stay up. So
yeah,
even if we stay up, is he the guy that we really want as well?
No.
Absolutely not.
So
not in my opinion. Not in my opinion. And again, this is where my frustrations come in with this club, right? And again, I know everyone is on Enoch and the way they run this club, right? But this summer and January, I do genuinely wonder, and I know we're not in the ins and whatnot, but I do wonder whether their preparedness to back whichever manager that was in there was there, and actually Vinay and Lange, being their CEO and director of football, just advised them not to. And I feel like obviously you can take it either whichever way you would think, but if you want to just look at negatives, and the worrying part of that is that we now have a board who don't know anything about football and running a football club, so are relying on the expertise of people that they've put in place who are also making the wrong decision, day after day, and then literally just doubling down with an interview which Lange did, saying we trust in these players, we've got players coming back, which is why we didn't strengthen the team, even though at the time we had about 14 injuries. Or you can look at the other side, which is, I don't know whether you want to call it the positive side, and say they are relying on these people and they are now just imagine what the boardroom is like at the moment when they're meeting up, being 1 point ahead of
They're
relegation.
probably chilled, mate.
You
They're probably,
reckon?
yeah, they're probably chilled. They're
I
probably
don't
sitting
think
there
so, man.
going. They're probably sitting there going, "Oh, and yeah,
I think it's
we're not."
panic station,
No,
Marlon.
because they haven't.
I think
Look,
it's
I
panic
know.
station in that boardroom.
No, they haven't been in panic stations. They weren't allowed to talk about the R word in the club for weeks.
The what? Sorry.
They wasn't allowed to talk about the R word, relegation, for
Yeah.
weeks. It's only come to light in the last week or so, because I've been told this, where they've started to panic. Because we literally dropped it. We're literally that close to it. They weren't allowed to talk about it. It was something they weren't thinking about. And that's why when the season ticket renewals came up, that is why they had to then delay it, because apparently less than half the people, because they didn't know what league we were going to be in. The fans were ready. The fans were already talking about it. The club weren't.
Yeah, but does that surprise you?
No.
It's a lack of,
that
it's a
even
lack
makes
of
it worse.
understanding. It's a lack of clarity. It's a lack of absolutely everything, right? And so that doesn't really surprise us, and that's why we a lot of us can look really, really stupid when we come on here and make statements, because the expectation is like it's yes or no on loads of stuff, right? And the yes or no is always dependent on what the alternative is. So we're saying, would you take De Zerbi? And most of us seem to say no. But if the alternative to De Zerbi is someone in the championship or two, like, then you might have a different understanding. Like Lookman, for instance, is a prime example. I said I don't feel like Lookman is the guy we need to go for right now. We should be going to get maybe a Savinio or someone in as let's play.
I'm with you, because I said the same thing. But none of the facts where we ended up with.
But the alternative is nothing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And I'll take it now.
Archie Gray was exactly the same. I always said I'm a fan of bringing in Archie Gray. I'm all right with that, because you're obviously bringing in another player that's going to be experienced and play in front of him. No, we didn't. But it's like, hang on, what? No, that's not how it works. Like, you can't bring in Gray and expect him to be a Premier League player. Like, he's 18. It doesn't make any sense. And this is the problem, is that we don't know what the alternatives are. If you would have said to a lot of fans with Frank, do you want Frank gone? Yes. Do you want Tudor in to replace him? Most of them probably go, no, I'm not sure about that. Like, I'm not sure how that would go. But that is the alternative. And it's exactly the same with like the De Zerbi conversations.
Tudor was always
if De Zerbi comes in any way, that means that Poch ain't coming in.
Poch ain't coming back.
Right. But it also means that any managerial change round, which will happen, there'll be a massive managerial change round in the summer for loads of clubs. Yeah, that also means you're off the market for all of those as well. So, is De Zerbi a better alternative to Poch or loads of them?
And De Zerbi's not stupid. He's holding out for another club. He's doing a Conte. He's waiting to see what's on offer, because if he's looking at Spurs right now and going, is that really where I want to be? If push comes to shove and they're still in the Premier League, maybe. But if there's better offers elsewhere, he's looking at it like that. And I think that's exactly what he's doing.
He won't last a year.
Not with our fan base as well. They're like, if it's very much like Conte, it's not going to happen, is it?
It's too volatile.
Coming back to what Manny was saying about what Vinay and Lange have done, I think that there's a clear strategy in what they've been trying to do. And it goes back actually to something that Conte said during his time with us. Conte said we need to make less mistakes in the transfer market. And he was absolutely right. Yeah, we've been making so many mistakes in the transfer market. And if you think about, if you just think about what the business that we actually did in the summer, that we actually did, and the business that we actually did in January, there are actually very few mistakes in the business that we actually did, right? You could say Tell was a mistake, but heaven knows, right? And I don't think anybody. I think that I agree that was probably just a done deal. It was just going to happen in the summer anyway. You could say Mawani was a mistake, but I think you could probably say it's an honest mistake.
Yeah, you can say in hindsight it's a mistake, but at the time you
don't always have hits, right?
Exactly.
So you're gonna have. But are there any other mistakes there? Probably not. The biggest mistake is is purely that they haven't done enough business.
The biggest, would you not say the biggest mistakes is the fall off from the signings from the season before? Because none of them who came in. So if you look at our January signings, it was Danso who's happened to be okay. Tell,
no dance or slander on
and
in front of
Kingsky. And then you go to the summer, and then you go to the summer before, and I'm trying to remember who it was now. Was it Gray?
Yeah.
Bergvall on a permanent because he signed in January.
Yeah.
Solanke?
And Solanke, yeah.
Solanke and Odebert.
Yeah.
Odebert didn't play for like a whole season.
Correct.
So you're when you say hits and stuff, when you actually look at that window, Gray, I'll be honest, he's done all right the last 2 games, but is that because we're in a desperate situation? But he hasn't hit the ground running, and he's had to play in every single position going. And then you've got Bergvall, who keeps just getting injured. So is it a fallout from like you said, the last summer window, but then they've still got to manage the windows they've had before, which is now.
But you're saying I'm talking about what Lange and Vinay did in the summer.
But Lange was still part. Yeah, but Lange was still part of that problem before.
Yeah, but Lange had a different CEO. It's you have to take things in isolation, right?
But then, but did he have the same CEO in the summer? Just gone. Because nothing had happened to Lee.
Yeah, the summer in January. So the summer in January, Vinay and Lange, and what they've done, you know, if I didn't want to do this, but if we want to just line up those 2 summers, right? Odebert, Kudus. I mean, the profiles in 2025, the profile was right, and in 2024, the profile was wrong. In 2024, we went and got a winger who was young and had just been relegated. Yeah, and
you could argue it's the Champions League that makes the difference. We don't sign Xavi or Kudos if we don't make Champions League.
Potentially, yeah, but my point is still valid.
No,
but the problem is that they haven't done enough business, and there's quite clearly paralysis. There's quite clearly analysis paralysis at our club with those guys and bringing players in, which comes back to why didn't they do enough business in January? And it's because Vinay is quite clearly the type of guy who has an idea and a plan, and then he likes to stick to it, and he wants to see it through. And in January, they weren't getting, like Manny said, they weren't getting the players that they wanted, and so they just didn't get anybody. And I'm just playing a bit of devil's advocate. From one perspective, you can see actually that's better than before, because you get a player in, if you haven't got them on loan, you've got them for 5 years, and then you're stuffed. But that absolutely is why we are where we are.
Yeah, why do you think? Why do you think we didn't sign enough players? Do you think that it's because they was targeting level of players that was too high for us? Because the problem, I think it's because we've got a squad list, and I've been saying this since the summer. Yeah, but I think it's because we've got a squad list, and the squad list is full, and they don't want to go over that squad list. But this comes back, and I agree, because again, I was a backer of Ange, and everyone tells me how much Ange spent, but what they don't tell you is how many first team players were brought in and how many first 11 players were brought in. What was happened out of that 400 million is that 300 million of it was actually on squad players, and guess what? We've now got a group of squad players and no one good enough to be a first team player. That's the problem that we've got. But unfortunately, you have to learn from your mistakes previously, and the mistakes that we've made is that we've not signed enough good players. So unfortunately, you have to cut your losses on the players that are not good enough and go and get more that are. And that's the problem, is that you can't, like, their excuse can't be is that we've been so wrong previously that we're scared to go right this time. That unfortunately, you shouldn't have got it wrong last time. That is where we're at. We are currently at this situation. It's the same thing with the injuries.
And even if it's not even if it wasn't you that got it wrong, you've come into a place where it was wrong before. You've now got to try and fix it as early as possible.
But sorry,
for Lange to come out and this is where the poor statement was, to sit there and go the injuries. Hold on, you do realize we can get more injuries on top.
Yeah.
And if you go look at the data should have told them that. Because if you look at last year under Ange, the players were coming back and we were still losing players. So the data should have clearly told them, unfortunately, in this situation, because of where we are and because it ain't working out for the manager, and maybe they could, you know what, to be honest, they could have got away with it if they brought in players early for Frank and that's the guy they wanted to keep. So maybe if they would have got Frank some more players that he could actually go out and put it on the pitch, maybe we would have won a game by now.
But can I say, going back to what Rain was saying, right? That this is the reason why I keep going back to the same point about Vinay and Lange, right? People have forgotten that when we tried to get Morgan Gibbs-White, Maddison was not injured. Madders was not injured at that time, so the plan clearly was to have Madders and have.
I thought he was.
No, he wasn't. So when we tried to get Morgan Gibbs-White the first time, Maddison was still playing. He was not injured. So we were trying to get a player of the quality of Morgan Gibbs-White and Maddison playing in the same team. Then we weren't able to get Morgan Gibbs-White, right? Maddison was playing. We didn't try to get anybody else at that time. And then all of a sudden, Maddison gets injured and they panic to go and get Xavi. But the problem that I have in a situation like that is your goal,
they panic to get Eze first.
Well, they panic to get Eze.
Xavi was the panic for Eze. Yeah, remember
that didn't work, right?
Yeah, Manny, but to go back to your thing, if I remember correctly, because I think I remember doing the reason why it just triggers in my memory because I was on Last Word on Spurs and I think we just played Newcastle. We knew he was out, and they literally, I'm sure of it.
I am. You can probably check. I am very positive.
I thought Maddison was injured.
I'm very positive that we bought Kudus, right? Finished Kudus, and then literally within days we were in for.
I thought they were both the same day. Were they not?
Spurs, yeah.
I think it was the day after or something like that.
No, it wasn't. Both of them. Both of them. They were here. We go.
Right, but I'm pretty sure that Maddison got injured after.
I'm not gonna say I remember. I thought.
No,
you can.
I thought
here we go. Here we go for. Oh, hang on a minute. What was that come up there? No, that's manager. The injury to Maddison was there was a statement by Spurs on the 7th of August.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But he got injured on the 3rd.
Yeah, but Morgan Gibbs-White was not even in August. That was even before the start of the season.
I'm looking. I know. I'm looking at the friendly now. The friendly was the 3rd of August.
Yeah.
Breaking news was the 10th of July.
Exactly. So my point being is that they had a plan, right, to have 2 quality number 10s in the team, right?
You're correct.
I think he was number 8. I think he was. I think Gibbs-White.
Yeah. I remember it now because everyone thought it was going to be the 2.
I get what you're saying because obviously he plays 8 as well. Because I understood the vision at that time, and then he was obviously Morgan Gibbs-White also plays as a number 10, right? So I'm looking at him thinking that idea of having those 2 quality players in the team was the right idea. It didn't come to fruition because obviously Morgan Gibbs-White fell through. Maddis got injured, but then what happens? They go out there and get one number 10, but not another number 10, which goes back to the same point that Rain is making, is the fact that it wasn't enough players coming in the summer, and then in January it wasn't. They decided not to bring in more players. And my theory for January, to be completely honest, is the fact that I actually think that they were looking at it. They were looking at the way we were playing and the results with under Frank, and they genuinely, in my opinion, sat there and thought, you know what, guys, we're not going to do anything this season. We are not 100% sure about this manager, and we're not going to get relegated. So let's not buy anybody and let's invest in the summer properly when we know what we're doing. right? But again, in my opinion, for the club that we are and the club that we are supposedly wanting to be, and supposedly what
I've just done the same thing.
Yes. So I'm
What'd
just
you say?
because Danny's trying to say you're wrong, but you're not wrong. You are
You're not
absolutely
wrong.
spot on, Manny, because this was on the 26th of July.
26th.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
And
our game against Newcastle was, why has he not shared that part of the screen? 1 second. Our game
But
against
I
Newcastle
actually
was the 3rd
remember
of
it as
August.
well.
Yeah.
I remember it as well because I remember everyone saying
So
that
Danny,
we went
you're wrong.
after Morgan. We went after Morgan Gibbs White, and when that fell through and Madison got injured, surely that meant that we needed 2 10s.
We needed
Yeah,
two 10s.
Yeah.
and we
And
didn't get.
it was
2
Eze.
10s, we
It
got
was
one in
Eze
Chelsea.
that came
Yeah.
after that. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So I am at the point at the moment where I'm genuinely believing.
Danny, an apology for Manny, please.
Is it Danny K?
Yeah, of course,
Another
Danny
one.
K.
Of course, it's Danny
one.
K. I can't even
Danny
see,
K,
one with
apology
that
to Manny,
hand.
please.
I can't even see the chat. But the point being from my this guy, the point being is that I genuinely think I'm starting to believe more and more that one, the board they do not know what they're doing from a footballing perspective, and they're trusting Vinay and Lange to make the decisions that Vinay and Lange are currently getting wrong. And that is the biggest issue we are currently having, because I think the thought process that they had in terms of the level of quality of players that they were trying to get was not wrong. I personally don't think it's wrong. I think it's the number that they are not bringing, that they didn't bring in the past, which is wrong. And I think that's the issue. And it could be for various different reasons. But by the way, it could be that in January they looked at Frank and thought, we are not sure of this guy, and because of that, we're not going to back him, and we're going to save the money. But that's where we are.
You're right in a way. In my eyes, you're right in a way. The problem is that they're so. You're. I think Marlon, you're kind of right as well in terms of what Vinay wants. He has a it's not often. Was it box office says? Don't get used to it. But he has a vision in his head, and he doesn't deviate from that vision, right?
Yeah.
So we want Morgan Gibbs White. If we can't get him, we don't want no one. It's not how football works. Football doesn't work like that. As soon as you find out you don't get Morgan Gibbs White, you go and you get somebody else. You can't.
You need backups on that list.
This is the big problem for me. Was we in the summer? Everybody knew we needed a left winger. Everybody knew that Tell, Odebert, they were projects. They were projects. No one was going to be that starting winger. I was one that said Son should go. Son should go. He should be replaced. He wasn't replaced, right? But Savinio's the guy you want. We're not getting him. We're waiting. January's the time. We're going to go in January. We're going to get him. You don't get him in January. At what point do you go, we need to get somebody? Because this is why we go and we have so many problems in this squad, because we don't commit one window. We wait till the next one, and then we don't commit that window, and we wait till the next one. So going back to buying first team players over the last.
Back to what Rain said though, because what's happened in the past is we've done that philosophy where we do have 2 or 3 on the list, but Daniel Levy, because he can't negotiate for that one, he ends up going 4 or 5 down, and then we're stuck with a player, and the manager goes. And then we're stuck with a player that the next manager don't want because he's not the quality.
But we haven't got one position that we're looking for. We needed a left back. We needed a ball playing midfielder. We needed a left winger. We needed a striker. It's not rocket science.
But also, Luke. Sorry, go on.
And so, just by what you're saying, Manny, in January, going, actually, we're okay at this moment. We don't think we're getting relegated. We're not backing this manager. What you're then doing, you're pushing all of what you need to the next summer, the next window, in which we probably all had a feeling Van der Ven may disappear, Romero may disappear.
And this is what I've always said.
You don't need 4 players, you now need 5,
7, 8, 9, 10.
Exactly, but that's
because
the point I was making is what I think they were thinking, right?
Yeah.
But in reality, and me and you have spoken about this on multiple occasions, right? In reality, as a club, if you're really, really serious as to what you want to do and where you want to get us to, like just look at, and I know they are a shambles, right? But just look at Chelsea the last few years. They've gone through a situation where they bought, whether this works, they'll buy. That what doesn't work, they'll buy. They'll buy. They'll buy. Yes, it stocks up the number of players, and then in the following summer, what do? Right, you Saudi there, you up here, you up there, because they realize that sometimes, not every time, because that's not how you run a football club, but sometimes you just have to take that L in whatever.
Yeah, but they've got clubs around, so they just shift players around like it's
not in
nothing.
Saudi though, not in
Yeah, but they've got but Chelsea have got a secret Saudi backing anyway. So
of course,
which
who
we've always got to
doesn't?
remember, and so do Newcastle. So
Yeah,
when
but
it comes
Marlon,
down
but-
to it, they can. But it's not just those clubs. But you got to remember, Chelsea own different other clubs. So what ends up happening is I'll scratch. It's the whole business. I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine. So Chelsea can pile all these players, but then when they need to get rid of them, they've always got a buyer.
Yeah, but why don't we scratch other people's backs?
Because we've been run by Daniel Levy, who's literally pissed off so many people
But
for
that's the
20 odd
point.
years.
That's the point.
But
Don't-
this is what
Get it
Vinay.
wrong.
But this
Just
is
don't
what.
get it. Just don't
but
get
thi-
it wrong.
But this is
as
what
much.
Vinay and Lange have unfortunately have got to try and fix as well. And that's the bit I suppose that most Spurs they think they've got to fix those relationships.
Yeah.
And that's the bit that's the hard part. But
I
And
don't
it
think
takes
you do.
and
But-
it takes time.
unfortunately it does take time. But unfortunately, what's going to happen at the same time? They're going to be making these mistakes, and we're going to be in where we're going to be. And so it's just a hot potato. But look, because obviously we just want to get on to next month. And we could discuss it. Look, this topic will come up again. Don't worry, boys. Don't worry. Right, but let's discuss the 3 games.
Rain, get your notepad out.
But the big thing, the big advantage that we've got now is that we actually do have players coming back.
Yeah.
You know,
For how long?
and if for how long is a
Tomorrow.
very good question. Is a top question.
Who are we going to lose in the
And
meantime?
if we can get some of those players, you know, Tell is playing better, and if we can get Tell playing on the left hand side like he's been playing, you know, and creating some chances, and if Kudus can come back and start creating some chances over on the right hand side, you know, things can change very, very quickly. All it takes is for us to score 2 goals in quick succession, and the whole landscape changes. Yeah, it really, really does. Not just for us in relegation, but in the very, very micro, in the players' heads.
Yeah.
At the moment,
Yeah.
you look at Forest, everybody's saying it. We can see their heads go down, but if we go and we score 2, then heads go up. I'm going to segue for you, Marlon. What the fans tried to do with the relegation parade outside of the stadium, right, to create that atmosphere, would happen. Yeah, because you would get that. You get that circular. I'm absolutely clear. I've seen people argue that it doesn't exist. That what the fans do doesn't impact the players, and it absolutely does. If the fans are positive, the players are more likely to be positive. If the fans are negative and anxious, it feeds onto the pitch. I'm absolutely clear it does. So the relegation parade was absolutely the right thing. It's rational. It makes absolute sense, because if the players go and get 2 goals, you know, everybody's a bit fueled up as well with bog off beer, and you know, and you get this positive energy, and it will recycle itself. Unfortunately for us, we just haven't been doing. I'm very, very clear. The fans have always been doing their job, which is they go in. I missed Palace. I was actually in Scotland.
So we've been
so
doing
I
that
missed.
job. You ain't. That's what
I
you
missed the Palace. Well, I was doing my day job. And actually, do you know what? I had a really, really crap journey home. That was a really crap journey home. But the fans always turn up. The fans turn up. The fans cheer until they get let down.
But that's the problem. Is that not the problem though? That because we are being let down. So let's take it. Let's take the Brighton game because that's going to be the one sandwich in between. If we go 1-0 down, the fans going to be like, okay, here we go again, and then it becomes negative.
So what do you guys? You guys want to do predictions at some point, right?
Yeah, now.
Now, right. So what do you think's happening with the Sunderland away?
Depends who the players are. Draw.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Depends for me. Sorry to say, but it depends who the manager is as well.
Like, no, fuck that. We're getting a draw. If it's true, that we're still getting a draw.
Sorry, can I say one thing just before we segue into that, right? So on that parade thing, right? The fans did what they were supposed to do, spot on that one, Rain. But from my perspective, what was the most important was dispelling that silly myth of that is coming from the players, that is, oh, we've not been performing because the fans have not been behind us. Because that what you saw out there, ushering the fans in, the players in, and for the players to, and again, as Marlon said, they did try at the start, right? But for them to then lose 3-0 in the manner that they lost 3-0 shows, and to me, has to show them that they have to get their heads out of where and actually start understanding that the most important people that are going to affect whether we get relegated or not is themselves. They are going to affect it. We are going to try. Like, I was late for the street party. Right?
So it's your fault.
But I was late. But the point being is the fans will rally. They will try and do what they can. But in the end, Luke doesn't wear the boots, even though he's got loads behind him, right? I don't wear the boots. You don't wear the boots. So they have to start acting like grown-ups, because so far they've been acting like kids, petulant kids, trying to fight the fans at every point that they can. Enough is enough. Try and get some points. Sorry. Back to the point. Yeah, Kudus is back, by the way. Is he back for Sunderland? I'm hearing he is.
Yeah, but it's still good. He's not going to start or anything, is he? It's going to be a...
Bro, all I'm going to say is wait till the week before, because we've got like 2 weeks before we start guiding into anybody who's back and who's not. Because all that will happen is he'll come back, setback. Another setback.
If we've only got 9 players, can we go to the Premier League and go, look?
No,
look.
we need less players to choose from, because with Liverpool, we went with less players. We got a result. We went to bloody Forest because we had 2 back, and we ended up making stupid subs.
If we've only got 9, I've got my boots ready, and I reckon I could do a job. I'm not gonna lie.
I've got my gloves ready, man. I'll take the Caro's place.
Draw for me, guys. Draw for me.
Sunderland draw. I don't know why I'm thinking draw, but Luke.
Yeah, I fancy a draw against either them or Brighton, and I probably fancy more the away game.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to say a draw as well.
All right, Brighton.
Draw for me again.
Loss to Sunderland loss for me.
Oh, loss for you.
I thought you said draw. Oh, okay, Sunderland loss. Brighton.
Draw.
No, I think we'll lose against Brighton.
Yeah, we're at home.
So I think either Brighton or Brighton or Wolves. I think we'll pick up 3 points in one of those 2 games. I don't think we'll get.
I've never been so happy that the last 7 of these games, 3 of them are at home. I was like, nah, we ain't doing it at home. You fans are the problem. You're home by your season scolders.
The thing is, again, it's one of them where, like, any result, and Rain's right. Listen, psychologically, everything is massive. Yes. You look at this weekend. If West Ham go and lose the Wolves, we somehow scrape a win against Sunderland. Leeds then play Man United, and all of a sudden, everyone goes
totally different. Yeah, you're
Spurs have been shocking, and yet they're still there. Like, we still can't catch them. We're still above them, and all of a sudden, these all things start dropping for you.
Look, I'm trying to get you out of here.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying. I'm trying to bring some positivity.
Brighton, I'm lost. Brighton. I
think lost.
I think draw. I think 2 will be gone by then.
What, you
Genuinely,
think we're
draw.
going to be unbeaten in 2 and all we do is get beaten every game?
Yeah, there's something. I've got a little feeling. Guys.
Wolves. I love the way. Now, for
I'm
me,
going to go for win.
do you know what? I'm with you. I'm going to go for a win as well.
I'm
I
gonna
don't,
go
and I don't know where I'm pulling that from.
I think in the next 2 games, if they beat West Ham and then lose their next game, they're sort of dead and buried. Like they still have that little bit of thing where they're down, they can play with freedom, but when it's
Dude, they're not beating West Ham. They're not beating West Ham. Not at the they're playing at West Ham on Friday night. They're not beating them.
Like
I think draw. I think draw is plausible.
Sorry, Wolves done me my favour this year, so I'm good with them.
Yeah, I think the key to those last 4 games in particular for me are where teams' heads at. So Villa, where are they going to be? Like if Chelsea continue having a bad run, Villa might have Champions League almost wrapped up by then for them. Leeds are obviously going to be fighting for their lives. Chelsea are going to be fighting against us regardless.
Hey, why are you going into you're running next month? We only go up to Wolves, mate.
We don't know yet.
I want to talk about I want to talk about Villa because I'm not going to be here for next month. But my take on Wolves is that's going to be a humdinger.
A what?
And I think that will suit us. I think it'll be a basketball match.
Yep.
And I think it'll be like a 2-2 draw. I think we'll get a draw.
So for me, if there's no pressure on these boys, they will get something. And once the pressure hits, like the Nottingham Forest game, they will literally just part like the sea.
So knowing that I'm a guest, knowing that I'm a guest and I'm not going to be here for the next month, I do just want to give you my Villa take.
Go on, you can.
I think we'll
here we
Villa.
go. Here we go.
You can be the last one to say something.
1-0 win.
I think we'll beat Villa. I think
Timo Werner moment.
I think it'll be 2 or 3-1.
Would anybody take Timo Werner right now?
No.
I think.
What makes you say that, Rain?
Just like Villa. Just like Liverpool. Barely any pressure. Lots of pressure on Villa, and we'll rock up and away from home. And I think it's everybody's looking for the sensible results. And I think my old man head on me is going, do you know what? You don't get sensible results at the end of a season. You quite often get left
some weird,
results.
Yeah.
And I reckon I'm looking at that Villa game and I'm thinking about how we react. So I know obviously I won't be here for next month, but remember me.
I will.
So in the next 3 games, I've got 4 points.
I've got 5.
I've got 4.
I've got 2.
Manny thinks we're going unbeaten.
I've got 5. We're drawing against
Manny
Sunderland.
got wrong last month, so it's fine.
We're drawing against Sunderland. We're drawing against Brighton, and we're beating Wolves.
We're not getting anything at home.
Come on.
No.
But Rain is absolutely right. Like, and I think this is Spurs has been a club for a very long time.
Yeah.
If someone said, Spurs go and beat top of the league and then lose to bottom of the league the following week, I'm like, yeah, I can absolutely see Spurs doing that. Like, that is well within Spurs' capabilities. Just this year, it's kind of like, would a win? We might draw against top and then lose against bottom, but. Yeah, I think there's going to be some mental results that take place. And, like every week we're saying, is he in, is he out? I think every week, like actually before the Forest game, if you looked at a lot of the predictions from not Spurs fans, I'm talking all different clubs, they was all saying Forest down. Every single one of them said, when you look at that run of fixtures they've got, they're going to go down. And I think now if they was to do it, most will say Forest will stay.
I bet the pressure, because the pressure's on them to win those games. Because look, they drew City, and then possibly, so it's possibly. Yeah.
So many of us are forgetting a couple of games before he got sacked, we drew 2-2 with Man City at home.
Mhm.
And so many people are forgetting that. You know, it just didn't happen. And that is what this team does. You give them something on their plate and they'll miss it, right? If you give them something where they have to hit, you know, a 3-inch target in the top left-hand corner, they'll hit it.
By the way, sorry, I know everyone disagrees with me in regards to this, right? But
That's what I'm talking for.
Everyone, the whole world.
everyone disagrees on this, right? But all those predictions are with the caveat that Tudor's gone.
No, you can't stop caveat.
No.
This is
I'm not.
YouTube, mate. You've said it. I'm
no.
tipping up
I'm
that
not
bit.
having. I don't believe he's gonna be here. I don't believe he's gonna be here. But if for whatever reason this guy is here, then I don't know.
Mine's with or without Tudor, so I don't care. Anyway, on that note, I'll let people. Rain, thank you for joining us as a guest. Absolutely brilliant.
Thank you
The
for
voice
having
is
me.
held up. The voice is held up.
And the voice is held up. Please make sure you head over to Manny if you're not on Manny's channel right now, and make sure you head over to Designate Hotspur and make sure you're liking and subscribing. And then if you're not on Luke's channel, make sure you're coming over to Manny and I, because we're the better two. But make sure anyone who's not on things can spotlight on Spurs, mate.
I feel like Langer here, just completely incompetent. Like just everyone around me, I'm just incompetent towards. Cheers.
Big up on 2,000 subscribers, mate. That's a
Cheers,
great achievement. So
It's that last word on Spurs business, isn't it?
Yeah.
And if you're not subscribed to last one,
But yeah, big up to everyone in the chat. Thanks for joining us tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. There's been a few of you tonight. But
make sure you subscribe to Spurs Kings as well.
And make sure tomorrow, an exclusive video is dropping on Spurs Kings TV tomorrow. So make sure you are there or be square. It's going to drop about 6 o'clock in the evening. It's going to be epic.
It's a good one.
It's a good one for once. We've got a good one. But thanks to the guys. We'll be back next month after the Wolves game and to review how we all got it wrong again.
3 wins, baby.
Yeah. On that note, good luck, Spurs. We're going to need it.